Today we're up a lesson, so you probably could guess where life is heading. We added yesterday, and then we subtracted, so it's a fairly common sense place where we're going. So this problem, you could do this by putting a stack of 74s all on top of each other and adding them, but that's not why this is on the board. What would be a better way to go ahead and do this?
You would multiply 74 by 5.
It would be a lot easier to multiply 74 by 5. That's why multiplication got invented. Multiplication got invented as a shortcut to add if you're adding the same number lots and lots of times. So if we're going to multiply 74 times 5, you're going to start with 5 times which part of it usually? You can just yell, it's okay.
4.
5 times 4. So 5 times 4 is 20. 20 is too big as a 2-digit number to jam into a single place. So when you get 20 and you can't fit all there, what do you put?
A 0.
You put the 0 there.
And then you put the 2 up there.
You carry the 2 up there just like we carry for adding. So 4 is done. Then we're worried about 5 times 7, which is, just yell, 35. Add that 2 on. 37. That's probably a quicker way to go than adding up 574. Now, if you insisted on putting a stack of 574s and adding them up, would you get the right answer? Yes. But if you had a list of 15 of those 74s, I don't think you'd really want to do that at all anymore. So, question about that concept? Okay, so vocab quiz is going to grow for Tuesday. So if your assignment sheet's handy, you can write on there, vocab quiz for Tuesday. Today's was 9, Tuesday's will be 12. It'll be the same 9 we did today, plus 3 new ones that we're about to do. So when we multiply, the problem, the parts have names, the answer has a name, and then there's one extra word, like we had more an increase on the adding world. There's going to be a word for multiply that I'll drop on the quiz. Does anybody know the multiplying pieces, what they're called? Like the 74 and the 5, they're called something. Or the answer, or take a shot at the word, but I don't think you'll be successful on the shot at the word.
I know the things you're multiplying and the answer has to
Okay, give me one, don't be greedy.
Alright, I'll do the answer is the product.
Answer is the product. So P-R-O-D-U-C-T, product is the answer when you multiply.
I know on the top one, I know one of the words is the dividend.
No, you're going into the divide land, so
yeah.
Next week we'll hit into that. The other hands, we'll go back to you, you get them both after all.
Are they factors?
They are called factors. Some books will call the one word a multiplicand and call the other one a multiplier. I'm not a fan of that, I'm a fan of just calling them both factors. Does anybody have a thought on why they both can get called factors? And you don't really need the multiplicand and the multiplier.
Because they're both important to the question. You can't do the question without one of them.
Okay, that's true, but like yesterday when we added, they were both add-ins. And when we subtracted, there was one had to be called the minuend and the other one had to be called the subtrahend. Why did that happen to us?
When you were adding, it didn't matter which way you put it.
That's correct. Adding, you can switch the order so they can just be called the same thing because you can switch them. Subtracting, you can't switch the order so they each needed their own name. Multiplying, they're both called factors because
They could go either way.
they can go either way. So that's what this note was here for, just make sure I did that conversation. 4 times 2, 2 times 4, same answer, do whatever order you want to do, no one cares, doesn't make any difference. They're both called factors. Now, I think more people prefer to do the longer number on top and the shorter number on the bottom. It's not right or wrong, it's just a choice that you would make. The word when you multiply, I'm just going to tell you instead of making you guess, it's the word of, and that probably doesn't even make sense yet, but it will more when you get into fractions and decimals and percentages and things. Like if I said to you, you got 2/3 of 60, that's a multiply question. Okay? If I said it's 20% of 100, that's a multiply question. The word of is later in the year and through your high school years, that's going to get used a good bit as a multiply indicator. What were our add indicators yesterday that we already quizzed today and I already said once today?
Oh, it was more and, what was it?
Increase.
More and increase were the magic two. And if you remember more and increase, the subtract ones were easy because they were just opposites. Instead of more increase, it was
Less and decrease.
less decrease. But of for Tuesday. So if you had some that you didn't know today out of that 9, just study them a little bit better for Tuesday. But factors product of get filtered in on the Tuesday quiz. We're up to 12. So again, if you're a writer downer, we'll cover my Tuesday, vocab quiz Tuesday. There'll also be a homework pinch Tuesday. This one, let's go ahead and multiply this one. This is a little bit of a longer strategy than there. Okay, so here we only had a single digit on the bottom. This has a double digit on the bottom. I'm not sure if we have people here that have come from other schools. There's some schools that multiply with a thing called lattice. If you learned how to multiply with a thing called lattice and you want to use that, go ahead and multiply with a thing called lattice. I'm going to multiply the way people multiplied in the 50s, so we'll see what happens. But if you got like a lattice thing going on, maybe learn another way to do it. But if you want to do your other way, you're fine. As long as you get answers, I'm good. But here, what's our first like combination that we need to know how to multiply? Which times table factor are we going to hit? Who times who?
So wouldn't we do 5 times 7?
No 5s. I got a 237 and a 19.
Oh, I thought that was a 5.
Okay.
If you look at it backwards.
Okay.
So wouldn't we do 9 times the top number first?
Yeah,
and
we're
then-
going to work off the 9 first. So 9 times 7, anybody just yell.
63.
63, so we got there. Then who goes into action? 3 times 9. It's going to be all about the 9 for a minute. 9's going to take its turn to multiply everybody. So 9 times 3,
29. Oh wait, no, no, no.
27.
27, add 6 more,
33.
33, carry. Then we go 9 times 2, 18, add that,
It is 21.
21. We're done using the 9, forget it was even there, we're good. Question about use the 9, made a level. When you go to make the next level, you have to do something. What do you have to do when we go down a level?
Put a 0 at the end.
Either put a 0 or leave an empty space. So whether you put a 0 or leave an empty space, it doesn't matter to me, but you've got to slide over 1 notch. If we had another number, then we'd have to slide over 2 notches. If this was super long, you'd have to keep like sliding over a space and have this big diagonal thing that either has empty spaces or a like triangle of zeros that just keeps getting longer. Like we're not going that big, so I'm not worried about that right now. Either a 0 or an empty. And now we use the 1. 1's the greatest number, the second greatest number you can have, because what's going to happen when you do 1 times that stuff?
You just get it.
Times any number is that number.
Is that number. So we're just going to go 7, 3, and 2. That's pretty great. Why'd I say it's the second greatest number though? Who's the greatest number to multiply by?
0.
I'd say zeros, because 0 times anything is 0. So that's the all-time champ. And now what do you do to finish this off? You add down. So just yell.
3.
3,
10.
10, so a carry.
5.
5, because we carried that 1, don't forget it.
4.
4. Oh, we're good. Something about that. Why don't you take a sec and just do that on a piece of scratch paper somewhere. You've got all sorts of paper in front of you. Just do this yourself for a minute and we'll see how that plays out. If you have something, let me know what you think, and then we'll see if people agree or disagree with you. You have something?
Yeah, $29.10.
I'll say definite no.
$33.18.
That's, I think, closer. I'm gonna definite say no.
$37.66.
I'm gonna say for the first time maybe, but I don't think so. I'm up here trying to do it in my head though, but that's the first one that has a chance. I'll say this for sure. Since there's a 7 times 8, 7 times 8 makes 56. It has no choice but to end in a 6. So if you don't end in a 6, there's not a chance at that. Ending in a 6 doesn't mean it's right, it just means that's the first one I think that had an opportunity. I think it's gonna be in the 33.
3366.
That's the closest thing we've had, and either I'm doing it wrong in my head or you're doing it wrong on your paper, but we're very close.
Yeah, I got the same thing.
No, I think I agree, I do think I agree with you. What do you have 3366? I think that's true. 4. Yeah, I'm pretty certain. Let's have other people weigh in and not just rely on 2 people and me trying to do this in my head.
I feel like 3666.
Yeah, it's definitely gonna go 33s for sure. I know for a fact 18 times 18 is 324. So we're gonna be slightly above 324 because the 7's gonna put us up, but it's not gonna put us up that much. It should put us up to around there. 18 times 7 is 126. So yeah, I'm gonna say yes, 3366 is a win. If you can't get it, let's try to track what happened. So you got it right. What was your top row?
On my top row, $14.96.
Okay, so 1496, she says should be your top row. So if you don't have a 1496 top row, that's where something happened. What was then your bottom row is 187.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the 1 makes a 187 bottom row. If you had both of those rows right, you just made a mistake when you added. But most likely mistake would have been something with the top row. What did you say off of that, 1496? Was that 1496 you said? Yes, so try to see if you can find out 1496. If you get it,
Yeah, I messed up on the top.
Okay. Are you good on that?
I'm still figuring.
You still figuring it out? Did you get it or you're still trying to get it?
Still trying to get it.
Okay. You good or you're still trying to get it? Okay. Yeah, let's make sure we get it before we move on. I'll say this, and then we can cut the record. The homework today is going to be page 6. So tonight, page 6 is going to go 1 to 25. The page 6 is going to have some adding, some subtracting, and now some multiplying. It's got a little bit of everything. So page 6. So grand total of things you need to do for Tuesday. Hooray! It's our first weekend, and we have Monday off. So hooray, 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 hooray! But for Tuesday, quiz goes from 9 up to 12. Page 6 is our page to do, and get your book covered. That's our big 3.